Hi, I'm Lynette and welcome. Today I'm going to be showing you swatches of the new Mothership Mega Celestial Nirvana palette from Pat McGrath. Now, if you like these types of videos, please consider subscribing because I'm here every week with makeup haul swatches, tutorials, and reviews. We're gonna swatch this palette and there are a couple of differences between this New Year's holiday release and last year's. So let's go on and get into it. Okay, so this is the new Mothership Mega palette from Pat McGrath. This is Celestial Nirvana. This is the holiday mega palette for this year. Now she's got a whole collection coming out that includes like I guess face highlighter, blush highlighter palettes, along with some blushes, some lipsticks, highlighters, and some mini quint eyeshadow palettes, and mascaras, colored mascaras. But for this launch, this initial launch, she only launched the mega palette and the mascaras. And we have to wait until October for the rest of it, which I was not aware of when I ordered this. I was a little peeved, to be honest with you. Maybe I didn't read the captions on social media, but I thought the whole collection was going to be released, and it wasn't. It was just the mega palette and the mascara. So I went on ahead against my better judgment and picked up this palette for a mere 10% discount. Pat always gives a 10% discount at a launch, and so I went and grabbed it. Now, before we get into the swatches, I did a very cursory comparison between this year's palette and last year's palette, and this one from last year is the Celestial Odyssey. So you can see this one is the red and gold, and this one is more fuchsia pink and gold, but very, very similar. Now, where they differ, besides just the color story, right? So last year's we got this color story, which was nice, and actually I enjoy this one. I enjoyed this color story more than I thought I would. So we have this one here, which is a little, it's pretty neutral. I would consider this pretty neutral. And then we have this one here, which is still kind of neutral, to be honest, but it does have a couple of pops of color, particularly some of the matte shades are different from what Ms. McGrath normally gives us. So in holding them up, actually, you probably saw the layout is different in this one compared to last year's, and this one is slightly larger. I don't know, I think you can see here that, yeah, so this one is the new one. This year's Nirvana the packaging is larger than last year's, and the layout is also a little different because the shadows in here are evenly spaced in evenly spaced rows, whereas last year's they're kind of not. They're not, but pretty. Now, I don't know, this has 0.8 grams, I believe, in it. I don't know what last year's had because I no longer have the box, and I can't find my magnifying glass either. I no longer have the box, but this year's has 22.7 grams and the net weight is 0.80 ounces. Like I said, this palette is a bit bigger, but I don't know if we're getting any more product in this year's palette than we did last year's palette. I want to say the pans, I don't know, the pans in here look like, this year's look like they might be slightly bigger, but I don't think so. I think they're the same size. I think what's throwing it off is the placement of the shadows. But so aside from the different color stories and the size of the palettes, last year's palette was made in the US and had imported ingredients, whereas this year's was made in Italy. Last year's palette was $78, which was, I believe, an increase from the year before, which was $75, whereas this year's is $82. These prices just keep going up, up, and up. And I understand inflation and the price has gone up for everything for everybody, but I was not happy about paying $82 for this palette. I'm just gonna put it out there. Also, another change between these two palettes. Last year's had a shelf life of 12 months, whereas this year's is 18 months. Now let's go on the inside. So here is the outside. And it's pretty, and just like last year's, you have the shadows and the names of the shadows on the back. They are not, the names of the shadows are not inside the palette. And then inside, this is cardboard, okay, just like last year's. I think just like all of them thus far. This is cardboard packaging with magnetic closure. And I have to say, it's hard to open this. So the magnet is very strong because every time I try to open it, I'm struggling. And then it comes with the big old mirror, which I still have covered with the plastic. And then you have the inside. Now, another significant difference between this year's palette and last year's palette is that this inside, this is cardboard. It's a shiny cardboard, but it's a cardboard nonetheless. And then you have the big Pat McGrath right here at the bottom, whereas last year's you had the shades were kind of offset. In the middle you had the Pat McGrath also in gold, but this here was lacquer last year. So, and I'm gonna be honest, immediately I didn't notice because I was just excited about getting it. And it because it is shiny, but yeah, it is cardboard. It is cardboard. I think the shininess of it doesn't make it look cheap, but it's cardboard. That's all I'm gonna say. And then you still have the ribbons on each side when you open and close, just like last year's as well. So yeah, I just wanted to note that this one here does feel a little heavier than this one. Actually, yeah, it's just got a little more weight on it than this one, and even though it's smaller, but that may be because this has the plastic lacquer in it, whereas this just has cardboard. And yeah, so those are the differences that I have seen thus far. This palette did launch on the 23rd, and today is the 28th, so it got here in just a little bit under a week's time. And to be honest with you, I was not, like, I didn't expect to get it anytime soon, to be honest. I'm surprised I got it in a week. To be perfectly honest with you, because, you know, at these launches, the shipping for Pat McGrath Labs can be trash. So I wasn't even keeping track of it. I really wasn't. I was just, when it gets here was my mindset. And that's exactly what happened. I got a confirmation email when I ordered it. There was no shipping. No shipping email. It just showed up. Just today I got the mail and here it was. If I had known it was coming, I would have been able to film some looks for you today. But since I did not know it was arriving, already have my makeup on, that's why you're getting swatches today. I will come back and do at least one look. I'm gonna try to do 3, but I'm gonna do at least one look with this palette. So if you're interested in seeing that, please go ahead and make sure you're subscribed and you have hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when that video goes up. All right, so no more talking. Let's get into the swatches. I'm going to be swatching it today. I'm just going to go row by row, column by column. So I'm going to go down this way, this way, this way, and this way. All right. First we have Nightfall. This is Bronze Infatuation, and this is Altered State. That's a pretty deep brown. And then we have kind of a bronzy champagne metallic. And then we have a dark, pretty dark green. Okay, next up we have Cosmic Champagne, Desert Divinity, and Glitzy Opulence. And these metallics don't appear to be as textured or flaky as the very first one I swatched. I thought this one would be the same as my skin tone, but you can actually see it. And I will show you close-ups. Next up we have Nocturnal Navy, which is this deep blue matte. Eternal Amor, which is a smooth metallic. And Violet Vixen, which is this beautiful lilac purple. Ooh, nice and smooth and pigmented. Ooh, pretty also. And I think this is what got people excited. Finally, we have just a couple, not many, but we got a couple of blues and purples, a couple of colorful mattes here. Finally, we have that pretty green right there. That's pretty bright. Once I swatched that again and built it up a little bit. Okay, next up is Lunar Lavender, which is a metallic. Eternal Amor. No, this is Fabulosity, which is a matte. And then Aquarian Dream, which is a metallic. Aquarium Dream looks like it's a duochrome because I see a little hint of purple in there. I don't know if you can see it. This another purple matte, and then this one is really like a light lavender metallic. Oh, that metallic is pretty. Yeah, this one does have a small like purple flip to it. Next up we have Auburn Allure, which is this really like, oh, let me get some more in it. This is a matte, kind of like a brown, very warm brown. This is Heavenly Bronze. This is another one of the metallics that look a little more flaky and textured than the other ones we've seen thus far. And then this is Venusian Peony, which is a matte. Now this one looks a lot like almost like a reddish brown. Looks a lot more red in the pan, but on my finger it's looking a little more brown in this metallic. Ooh. Oh, that's very pretty. And then that's the peony shade, which is pretty bright. This is gorgeous, but you can see some of that flake. You can see some of that flake there. That's really, really beautiful. Now, I just want you to see this shade. I don't know if you can see it. It feels very like creamy, but it's hard to pick up on my finger, and it might be a little dark in there because I'm using a makeup wipe to take off the shadows, and I may have gotten it a little wet in there, but yeah, it's not easy to pick up, and it definitely doesn't look as deep on my finger as it does in the pan. And I just want to swatch. This is it right here, and I just want to swatch it again because I don't feel like I got a good swatch the first time. I think I swatched it too Well, it swatched really nicely. I swatched it too close to this this one right here, so that's what it looks like. Very, very warm. Very, yeah, like a burnished brick shade. And now for the last row, we have Golden Angelica, which is a metallic. Flame Fatale, which is a matte. And Starlit Copper, which is a metallic. And Starlit Copper kind of looks a little more satiny. This looks very bright on the finger. We'll see in the swatch. Very smooth. Everything is swatching really, really smoothly. That's really pretty. Very bright. And that is beautiful also. Yeah, I said this was more satin, but no, it's a metallic. So these are all of the shades. So two of the metallics are pretty, you know, textured, kind of on the flaky side, but very smooth. Whereas some of most of the other metallics are pretty just smooth in texture. And so you can see like these 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these 6 would make a nice neutral palette. And then you have the next 6 here. And then you have this one is just stunning, just stunning. So those are the swatches. There was some kick up in the pan in terms of the, well, in all of the shadows, really. The mattes, there was some kick up there, so they're a little powdery, but everything feels smooth and is soft to the touch. This one, this metallic here, seems to be the most textured and flaky of them all, but not so flaky. Not really flaky, but definitely more textured than all of the other metallics. This one had a little more texture too, but this one is definitely has the most, whereas the others are a little more smooth. And then the mattes, this one, aside from this one, all of the rest, and this one I had to go in a little bit, and looks like I might have to build that up, but you never know until you put them on the eyes how they're going to perform. Hopefully you can see that better without the glare, how they're going to perform. But I'm encouraged. The mattes, especially the colorful ones, seem pigmented. See that one shade, So I don't know. I'm worried about this one. Because I don't know. Maybe once it dries, maybe I put my finger in there too wet, wasn't dry yet. So that one I'm worried about. That's the only one that doesn't like want to pick up on my finger. So we'll see what happens with that one. But yeah, the mattes, especially the colorful ones, they appear to be pigmented and everything swatched smoothly. So right now, this like duochromish one, this really beautiful baby blue with a little slight hint of purple in it, that's definitely my favorite. I love this one too. This one is a lot brighter than I thought it was going to be, and this blue is really deep. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm a little more excited about this palette now that I've swatched it. Let me know in the comments what you think of the swatches. Did you order this palette? Are you planning to order it around holiday time? Because you know it's going to go on sale. See, now if I could have just waited, I could have gotten it on sale. Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope to see you again next week. Until then, bye-bye.